Hey everybody, welcome to another episode. I'm Matt.
I'm Mandy.
And this is another episode. Thank you guys so much for joining us again as we dip back into the movies that shaped our childhood. And today, Mandy, what are we talking about?
Today we are talking about the 1996 Pauly Shore classic, Biodome.
1996, Pauly Shore. Look at that. This is
buddy.
Is this our second Pauly Shore?
Yes, we did Son-in-Law.
Son-in-Law.
Because I'm the Pauly Shore fan.
Right. Yeah.
So
we'll find out more about that here in a minute. And of course, we always ask if you are listening in or watching us now on the YouTubes. If you've never found a reason to watch this movie, please take it upon yourselves to go find it now. It's currently streaming on Amazon Prime.
Yes.
So if you've got access to that, you can go watch that for free. But otherwise, find it wherever you can, watch it, come back, and then join us for this conversation. And you're back. All right. Thanks. Now we can get this ball rolling. And of course, Mandy, you and I, we don't like to talk about these movies by ourselves because we know what each other think. Now we've been this will end up being, I think, episode 98.
Mm-hmm.
So we're inching so close to that 100 episode spot. So we need to ask another guest to come on. We're very excited to have returning guest all the way up from Traverse City. We have Traverse City area comedian Mr. Matthew Zerilli is with us.
Hey, buddies!
Yay!
I'm really excited to talk. Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to talk about this one. What a nice
thanks for coming back.
Capsule. Yeah, oh yeah, I had a blast last time. We did Clueless last time.
Yes!
Yeah,
that turned out...
Sorry, I was gonna say we've picked some like really dumb dummy movies. I just don't want you to think that. Okay, good. We don't think you're dumb.
I sense a theme, which is fine.
Clueless turned out to be a really pleasant watch for me. I was pretty impressed with it. So, yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
And we'll see what happens with this one now. So, but yeah, welcome back via Zoom. We can do a mini Zoom tribal here, I guess. I don't know.
Mini tribal.
All right. And then we always ask the guest, Matt, how long had it been since you watched this before we made you watch it for the podcast?
I'm going to come clean. I've never seen this one. This is a first watch for me. I
know.
My
goodness.
This is exciting. Right. I know. And I don't know. It's one of those that I don't know kind of how I missed it because I loved Encino Man and I was a Pauly Shore guy. And it's just one that was a blind spot in my repertoire.
Oh, man.
I'm really glad that I did. It's one that's been around so long and referenced so much. It's almost like it seems like I had seen it or something, but I'd never seen it. So pretty excited.
That is crazy.
What a 90s time capsule this movie is.
For sure.
All right. Oh. And Mandy, how long had it been since you watched this movie?
Probably about a year. We planned on doing this movie with another guest, so I watched that. But yep. This is something that I watch probably at least once a year.
Okay.
And as a kid, I watched the shit out of this movie.
Yeah. I do recall I watched it again, like we had planned on doing this once before, so it's been probably a year since we had the plans in the works, but it just fell through. But prior to that point, it had probably been close to a decade, I would say, since I saw this. It does come up here and there, but I mean, as far as sitting through and watching the whole thing, with the intent of watching Biodome, it'd probably been quite a few years at that point.
Did you watch it a lot as a kid?
I do remember watching it a ton as a kid, yeah. I remember liking the movie as a kid, and then watching it again, it for me did not hold up. Like it was, I was not a fan of this movie upon rewatch. I don't know if it's, again, a lot of these things can be skewed by like a critical eye, like watching this for the point of the podcast and being like, what could I possibly say about this movie that people aren't already thinking or that has any sort of a reason to tune in. But yeah, it's just not up to snuff for me as far as a comedy film. It is very much Pauly Shore comedy. So if you're into that, I mean, that's what you're into. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
you definitely had a lane. This is definitely right in the Pauly Shore lane
for sure.
Like I noticed watching it this time, especially for. I noticed that I related in the beginning, at least. I felt like I sided more with Dr. Faulkner.
Yeah.
Because I was like, these guys are assholes. They're like destroying everything.
Right.
And then, eventually, obviously they have like a turn, a turn of mind frame or whatever, and they start to actually help, which the timing of this movie is weird because a majority of the movie takes place in the first month.
Yeah.
And then they like speed through like 11 months.
It's like a montage of 11 months. Yeah.
The third act is like the 11 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
You just get
and
like,
it's
benchmarks
the whole time
of holidays. That's all you see. It's like the Halloween stands out.
Oh yeah, there's a Christmas tree. It's like a fever dream.
Yeah. Well, and the whole time I wondered, are they spending 11 months listening to "You Can Dance If You Want To"? Because I'm pretty sure I would give up if that were
like the case. Psychological. That's what you do to people in captivity to get them to break. Just play that song. Yeah.
But we've become desensitized to it from watching this movie. It's either that song or that "Da Da Da" song over and over again. So,
great soundtrack.
Yeah,
excellent soundtrack. Steelers Wheel made this one. Like the safety dance is that?
Yes.
Like
Men Without Hats. Yeah, so we get some Tenacious. We get some early Tenacious D.
I was that blew my mind.
Yeah.
Don't say we didn't save some fucking trees.
That blew my mind. I wasn't ready for that. It was really great.
So in case you're listening in and you have not seen this movie or you just kind of forgot what the hell is going on, Bud and Doyle are one of the Baldwins. Is it Stephen Baldwin?
Yeah, Stephen Baldwin.
Yeah, and Pauly Shore. They think they're going to a mall to take a piss, and it turns out to be the Biodome. And now at the time, was in 96, was a Biodome like a thing already established?
I mean, it must have been.
I knew what a Biodome was, but like these guys did not clearly know what the hell was going on.
They're fucking idiots.
Yeah.
Well, and the premise of the film is like this was like the first of its kind, right? Like they're breaking ground on a brand new venture into this whole like, let's see if we can sustain life, in a enclosed environment for a year and see what happens.
I thought you were gonna say in a canoe.
It was interesting. To Mandy's point, it was really interesting because it's like we're talking about 25 years ago, and I don't think the climate change discussion was certainly what it was today. So it's kind of it was interesting to see like that Dr. Faulkner. You feel a little more like sensitive. Like no, he's actually doing the right thing. Like from our 2020 eye, it's like
yes. But it's funny that you say that because that's probably why I feel the way that I do now. Back then, I was just like, oh, this guy's so lame. These guys just want to have so much fun.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I feel like back then, that's what what I saw environmentalists as is what those kids were being back then. And I'm like, you don't really care. You're not really trying. You're literally just trying to get laid like a bunch of those frat dudes were. And now it's to the point where you need to be that like militant sort of like Dr. Faulkner in the end phases of like, we have got to do something about this or we're all going to go to hell. And then he eventually just tries to blow the thing up, which is what we're going to do.
The guy who plays Dr. Faulkner, fantastic.
William Atherton,
who's part of one of my favorite movie scenes of all time, which is from Ghostbusters.
Okay.
The Bill Murray line, "It's true, Your Honor, this man has no dick."
Yes.
One of my favorite lines of all time.
Yeah.
I'm going to miss him, and they take him away. It was great.
He plays the best asshole. Like he's an asshole in Ghostbusters, Die Hard. We're Real Genius, which we're gonna do eventually because I love that movie.
Oh, that's such a great movie.
I know, right?
So good.
I forgot
he was in that.
That's going to be like a first watch for me, essentially. Like
it has Val Kilmer in it.
It's been long.
I think you're gonna love it, Matt.
Yeah.
No, Matt. Well, Matt hates everything.
It holds up. It's got that. It's like one of those first. It's like Ferris Bueller before Ferris Bueller. But we're talking about
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I totally agree.
We can dip wherever we need to, man. All right. I'm gonna kick this thing off with a little clip though. This is explaining kind of what the Biodome is. It was that little infomercial at the beginning that we had to sit through.
The place is the Arizona desert. Here, a team of scientists and investors, led by Dr. Noah Faulkner, has come together to create the first space station on Earth.
They're breaking ground on an Earth space station.
Unspoiled, unpolluted, a world that no longer exists outside. This Earth Day, Dr. Faulkner and 4 carefully chosen, highly qualified scientists will seal themselves inside. Their mission will be to sustain life for 1 year while living in harmony with nature.
America.
Welcome to Biodome. Congratulations, Biodome 5.
Biodome 5. By the way, William Atherton is he is going to be the voice of Drew Pickles in the new Rugrats reboot.
Oh, fantastic.
So, did you watch Rugrats?
Yes.
Yeah. No?
I did.
Well, Chucky, the little redhead, his dad was Drew Pickles, so that's super fun. Isn't that?
Yeah.
No. Or is it Tommy Pickles?
Yeah, it was
He's
Tommy.
Tommy's dad.
Yep.
Yeah, sorry.
Right.
Good to hear William Atherton's still working. That's good.
I know. It's good to know he's still living. I honestly expected to do a rips to Atherton on this, but no, he's still alive.
Nice.
True.
All right. So are you guys, so we did talk briefly about Pauly Shore and your life with Pauly Shore. Are you guys like fans otherwise? I know, like I said, we covered Son-in-Law, but you've got the classics like In the Army Now or Jury Duty or whatever the hell that other one was.
Encino Man is my peak Pauly Shore moment. Yeah, I really enjoyed Encino Man with Brendan Fraser.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a guy who just kind of faded away.
I know.
Yeah.
He kind of, like, the last thing I really remember with him was like the Mummy stuff. And then he kind of I feel like he was in some Disney stuff and that was it.
Yeah.
Sure.
And
and I didn't watch.
It's a sad thing.
I didn't really watch the Disney or the Mummy movies, so it was mostly like, what was that? Bedazzled, I think he was in.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
I love that movie so much.
That's a really good movie.
Yes.
Who's the devil? What's her name?
Elizabeth Hurley?
Yes. I was going to say Hugh Grant's girlfriend who broke up with him for sleeping with a whore.
Yeah, she was a very important part of my adolescence.
There you go.
Yes.
Bringing us to Miss Joey Lauren Adams, who was a big part of my growing up, my childhood. I really, I really enjoy.
I don't know that this movie passes the Bechdel test as far as complicated female characters.
Well, we did have.
Don't forget Kylie Minogue is in this.
That's right.
Yeah.
Kylie Minogue. I was like, holy shit! I could not believe it. I couldn't believe she was. Sorry.
Did you find the quote from her regarding this film?
I did.
Part of your fun facts there?
Yes. She said, Kylie Minogue has called this film her worst career move ever.
Yeah.
She said that it's the only thing that she's ever done in her professional life that her father has ridiculed her for.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Also, Alec Baldwin told Stephen Baldwin that doing this movie would end his career. So.
Has he been in anything since?
Yeah. No, yes, he has. He's been in stuff.
Okay.
The Baldwin family is fascinating to me.
For sure, yeah. There's a documentary we all need.
Yeah, like Stephen Baldwin's like a zebra. Like it should be. It's like it's not a horse really. Like it's like you're looking at this thing that's like, where does he fit in this family? Yeah, I don't know. Like, but I enjoyed his performance in this movie.
Yes, oh my gosh, so hot. Oh my gosh, like I forgot how good looking he was in this movie. Yeah. Obviously, like his dreads are stupid, but his eyes, his teeth. The Baldwins are just an amazing looking family.
Right,
they're all so
to
stunning.
Me, the weirdest, but like it's still Alec Baldwin. No matter how much he does to what seems like would be ruin his career, it just seems to keep pushing through. And I don't know.
That's because he's fucking great. His Trump impression is like one of my favorite SNL things ever.
Yeah, for sure.
It's amazing. And he's like, and my mouth looks like a little butthole. It is amazing.
He had a really good Comedians in Cars too with Seinfeld. He's a pretty fascinating guy.
Yeah, that whole fucking family, man, it's great.
30 Rock, he was amazing in 30 Rock.
And Pauly Shore, like he's got that whole family lineage thing. Like his mom was Missy, right from the
Mitzi Shore, yeah. The late great Mitzi Shore. I think she just passed away within the last year or so.
Now here's the thing.
It was I think it was a couple of years because I saw him at Shakespeare's in Kalamazoo. A couple years ago. And his mom had died.
And
recently.
Describe that show for us, if you would.
Oh, I've heard legend of this show from Bobby Fredericks.
It was a train wreck.
It was
It was so horrible because my sister and I love him so much. Like I remember watching
Never meet your heroes, people. Never.
Right?
Oh, man.
We watched him when he was a VJ on MTV. Like I remember seeing him on spring break and like thinking, oh my gosh, this guy is so hilarious. He's so cute. And then loving all of his movies.
Oh.
So then he basically like gets on stage and just talks about how shitty his life is now. And you felt it was self-deprecating, but it was more like a therapy session than like a funny, oh, I'm a loser. Ha ha ha. It was like, no, like my life is shit. And But I don't know.
He ended up in the basement of Shakespeare's in Kalamazoo. I mean, he was at like the pinnacle. Nothing disparaging, nothing disparaging against Shakespeare's, but I mean, this man was like on the top of the world at one point.
Right.
Like he was like everyone's it guy, and then
I would actually go see him again in hopes that this was just a bad show.
Yeah.
Sure. A fluke.
I really would. And he was supposed to come to Shakespeare's. I think they had to like postpone it. I almost said adjourn it because I work for a court. They had to postpone it because of COVID. So if you get a chance, you definitely should see him because I'm hoping that it won't be so horrible next time. But it's still fun to be so close. Yeah. And I took a bunch of pictures even though you weren't supposed to.
Sure.
I got a kick out of his performance in this movie in a bunch of spots where it's like, it's almost like he doesn't know he's in a movie in some spots. Like everything, like it's almost so casual. Like he kind of he laughs at stuff he's saying, and it's like they're just messing around. You could tell. It was just, I don't know, it was interesting.
So there's an example of that in this clip right here. This is a very long clip, but we're just going to I'm going to skip around in the
I'm going to love it. I'm going to love it. Just play the shit out of it.
Right.
Look at his wrist. It's quivering. It's
oh my God, what happened?
I'm no doctor, but I think he's brain dead.
Yeah, and?
There's that laugh.
Birthday, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. I was up on the couch trying to take down the mahi-mahi. Free mahi-mahi, free mahi-mahi.
I still say that to this day. Anytime someone talks about mahi-mahi.
Gravity snatched the poor little boy, and he fell down like a rag doll.
This could happen to be one of your convenient little accidents with it.
Monique, look. You call me a huge whelp and the guy's hit an accident. I can't make that up, see? Huh?
The plan had merit. Like, this was going to work.
It was a good plan.
You should have used the back of the book, you know?
That's the only thing they messed up. The logo.
My poor little doily. I love it.
I smell a scam.
Oh, no, that's Doyle. He's got a quivery colon.
Quivery colon.
Damn it, but you guys promised that.
Right, we're going to keep trucking through
my
here.
butt. The only thing that hit Doyle's head is this book.
I don't think this scene would be in it today if it was made because of the CTE risk of getting hit with an encyclopedia.
Right. Yeah, we don't want the kids to follow suit. You know, there were a bunch of those though. Like there was the jump off the roof, Mary Poppins style. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. The bungee jumping off of the thing.
The bungee jumping.
Yeah.
So 90s. The bungee was great.
So 90s.
Extreme sports for sure.
I still say making a filter, making a filter. Oh my gosh, it's so great.
Every time you pick up cigarette butts, is that one?
Well, I mean, back in the day, yeah.
Except you're saving a biodome.
Like
anytime, or anytime you just need to make a filter, you know, like that happens all the time.
I also say, "Oh, I'm slutty. Oh, yes, I'm slutty. Too. I feel like a duck-billed platypus."
I'm a duck-billed platypus. Sure.
Yeah. I say that too all the time.
Yeah, there are a few running, lines that still show up in life today, and I find that to be the case with these. These movies are so far removed from what I normally watch nowadays that they have just become these little sound snippets in my brain. And when things remind me of them, that's when they come flooding back. It's like, oh shit, like I need to watch that movie again. And but, let's see. Do you guys have any outstanding characters? Anybody who, like, say not Bud and Doyle, but was there anyone who stood out as far as like sub-level cast members?
The guy that was on Laugh-In, the investor.
What's his name in this movie?
Leakey, Mr. Leakey?
Mr. Leakey, yeah.
Mr. Leakey. I meant to look him up.
Yeah, Henry Gibson, rips to Henry Gibson.
Rips,
he died in 09. He was pretty old, so he died in 09. Yeah. I thought he did a great job, especially because
there's that one scene where he gets the cigarette, like they're doing the homoerotic thing, the phone sex thing, and he gets the cigarette out.
We're Bud and Doyle. We're thinking of you.
And I'm Bud. And when we're not out saving the environment, we're thinking of you. Naked, thigh deep in tofu.
There was a lot of this, like, blatant homoeroticism throughout this movie.
That was an interesting, it was just an interesting thing because, we're talking 95, right? 96. Sure. So it was 96. Interesting that there was so much of that in there, Now, also the toenail chewing scene.
Oh my God, I'm so glad I've been waiting to talk about that and I've been waiting to mention it. Was that difficult for you? Because I thought that was hilarious as a kid, but as like an adult, I was just, and he like brings it out. He's like, oh, good one. Yeah. I was like, oh my gosh. Oh, and the fart smelling. Yeah. Between the toenails and the fart smelling.
Yeah, Jeanette and I, we were both watching it. We were both doing like the horror movie, like cringe at that one.
Go deeper, buddy.
Oh, the one with the bunion.
Yeah, or the corn.
Or the corn.
My standout character by far is the guy that plays Russell. His name is Taylor Negron.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love him. I think he is amazing. He is in Nothing But Trouble, and he plays the Brazilian, and he's so funny. Also, rips to him in 2009.
Yeah, he was great.
Or, I'm sorry, in 2015.
2015 he died? Okay.
He died of cancer. Yeah.
Aww. Well,
he's one of those guys that is great in everything. Everything he makes everything better.
He shows up just out of nowhere, and he's just
he's in a ton of stuff.
He's one of those utility players that's just all over the place, man. All right, here's a little clip from him too.
There's beer cans in the trash in the kitchen. There's beer cans in the trash in the bathroom. There's beer cans in the trash in the basement. What does that say?
We're out of beer.
Mom, would you please tell your love slave that if he's not part of the solution, he's part of the problem?
The only problem I have is that I've run out of Depends.
You know, Russell, there is a bathroom right around the corner.
I cannot go to the bathroom. I hurt my bladder rollerblading.
Rollerblading.
Valid, you know.
Yeah, as happens occasionally.
Yeah, for sure.
I
mean, haven't we all, you know?
It's a tie between him and the guy that plays Romulus, the bug guy.
Yeah, Romulus is going to be mine. Yeah, my standout.
Oh, okay.
Guy. Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel so horrible for him. Those fuckers like catch all of his bugs with that sticky tape, and I was just like, this is so sad. This poor guy's life's work is all like now.
I only pulled one clip that like features Romulus pretty specifically, and it's very short.
Simeon.
Yeah.
Simeon.
Dick. That's it. I just love his retort to that. Like, it's so highbrow, and then he just comes back with Dick. And
he's like, "Oh, this tastes like it came out of Romulus. Maybe it did."
But then later, Romulus throws out the dick too. Like at the end, he's like, "Dick." When he locks
they make it all right in the montage scene with Romulus. I feel like they straighten it out with him.
Yeah, his Lepidopterus or whatever, Boinkin or whatever the hell he calls him.
Didn't their drummer lose an arm?
Lepo what? Yeah, that was wild.
Oh, so funny.
I am gonna play the clip here of reintroducing the Biodome 5. It's just very short, but it just tells who and what everyone does here.
Please, I would like to introduce my team. Miss Olivia Biggs, our geologist.
She was in something else. What was she in?
Denise Dowse. She's actually second in the credits under William Atherton. She's been in a shit ton of stuff, and she's still like filming.
She did a lot of like TV stuff, but she was in something interesting. I can't remember what the hell it was.
I can tell you what her filmography is.
Yeah, as like one of her top listed things. But anyhow, we'll get back to her. So
okay.
T.C. Romulus, our entomologist.
That was Romulus.
Romulus.
Which again, he's been in a bunch of stuff, but then he also has a lot of TV work that he's done since this.
Familiar face, yeah, he's one of that guys.
For sure, yeah, he's a that guy for sure. Yeah.
Petra von Kant, our oceanographer.
Petra von Kant.
She's actually named after a character from something famous. I can tell you what that is after I'm done looking.
Yeah, I read that too. It's like a character in a book or something.
Yeah, the Dow's woman. She was in Ray, Pleasantville, Requiem for a Dream. Which
I was going to mention Requiem for a Dream because that movie keeps coming back around.
It really does.
And I have never seen that movie, so
that's a rough watch.
Yeah, I've heard.
Yeah, it's good. It's really good.
Yeah, it's kind of like Schindler's List. Like you watch it once, and you're like, "Yeah, I never have to watch that again."
Yeah, like There Will Be Blood. It's an intense watch.
When we talked about the ass to ass thing so many times with
Kuban,
with Adam and Kuban.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's got to be the signature ass to ass film in the history of.
Yeah, of the plethora. Yeah,
it's a one.
If you open that page, it's right at the top of that page.
Mimi Simpkins, our agricultural.
Mimi Simpkins.
This woman did like hardly anything else.
Just think of the water. You stand. Just come on. Just let it go. Come on, hurry.
I can't do it here.
Yeah. All right.
This is a good opportunity to talk about. Let's take a second and talk about the security at Biodome.
Right? Oh, and I'm actually really. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, well, at one point he says he's got over $100 million invested in Biodome. They've got one guard,
guy. Yep.
And they left the fucking keys in the door.
Right?
Like,
And this shit is supposed to be airtight.
I know.
Yeah.
It's just
even the air can't get out. And then these two morons, when he's like, "Oh look, a tasty dactyl," and then he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna eat you, little frog legs," and then key.
Tasty dactyl. I know the key's just hanging there. They're all sitting in the writers' room like, how are these guys gonna crack into Biodome? How are they gonna get past this high-end security? Fucking firecrackers and a key. What, you know?
Well, that's why they're both like, no way. And then the next thing you know, they're walking out, to their car that has a bunch of parking tickets.
And I don't know how much experience any of you guys have with like heating and cooling units, but are all vents just the size of a human person? Like, can you just freely crawl through every infrastructure inside of every building forever?
Every plot device.
Yeah, right.
So
we just did Bad Boys, and the whole point of that was they took like one of those things you slide under a truck with when you're working on it, and ran it down a ramp into like the middle of the police station and stole a bunch of shit. But like, who's building a ductwork system that functions in? And then of course we've got fucking Dr. Faulkner just rolling around underneath the Biodome on like a motorized scooter. Like,
oh, totally. And he's got like that whole like viaduct that he goes through. It's like,
like, who's building this shit, man?
He was pre-planning to go crazy.
I think so.
The guy that plays the one guard, he went on to write a ton of movies. He wrote like Con Air. He wrote movies that we've covered. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow. That is the least likely person that I would have thought.
I know. I thought for sure that like that's the craziest thing I've ever heard. And so he's actually, even though he is like a no name in this movie, he's listed
a shitty security guard. Let's be honest with ourselves.
For sure.
He's not a good security guard.
Well, in his defense, there was like what they thought was gunfire. So
how about that for another cultural touch point before the mass shooting era?
Yeah.
Right.
I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Just gonna throw out some firecrackers and then everyone will just remain calm.
There's a joke you probably wouldn't do today.
Yeah, he also wrote Armageddon. Green Book.
Holy shit.
He wrote Invincible with Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
Fever Pitch, Stuck on You, Me, Myself, and Irene.
They can't be all hits. So.
Right.
Yeah.
I loved Fever Pitch. Fuck you. I love Jimmy Fallon. I love him.
Uh-oh, you got to be careful now. That must have been right around his blackface Chris Rock
era. Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah.
I just heard that today. That's crazy.
Whatever. So many years ago.
Right. All right. Let's hit another. Oh, this one, I pulled this clip. I'm sorry for both of you, but I pulled it specifically for Stu McAllister in case he decides to listen to this episode.
Nice.
Because we got a
case
of huffing your own beefers in this episode here.
Okay, my turn.
Imagine being the guy who has to pick the sound for that. Like, can we get a different one? Make it a little greasier, or something?
Peanut butter and jelly with bacon. That's easy. Whoa, buddy. Good call, man.
Keep on cruising.
Keep on living. Keep on going.
It's already gross enough, but then he's got his mouth filled with garbage food, and he's still talking.
I'm going down the line.
Yikes.
Mixed green salad with 1,000 blue cheese dressing.
Ooh, almost had him there.
Oh, dude, that was fully major, dude. Your beak always nuts, buddy. Keep on cruising. Come on, buddy. It's okay. Keep on cruising.
Wait, it's over here now.
Idiot. All right. So that was for Steve.
Oh, so bad. Yeah.
Huffing your own beefers.
That was an observation I had. One of the interesting observations I had about this movie is, obviously they were going for some cartoonish, like kind of like a Saturday morning cartoon vibe. But they also, like, pre-Family Guy, there was a lot of really good, like, flashbacks and, like, asides.
Yeah, for sure.
Which I thought was interesting, which is one of the things I love about Family Guy. Like, that's one of my favorite gags in movies. It's like that time when blah, 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 and then it shows them back on the roof.
Yeah.
And
yeah, this was just like it was a way of giving some needed backstory or just some just some comic input, I guess, from in the middle of this weird ass movie. But
it's a weird ass movie.
Yeah. It's funny because one of the flashbacks made me wonder, are they brothers? Because
I actually said that out loud.
The mom said it's like I had two sons, Bud and Doyle. So I don't think they were. I just think he was kind of there all the time.
Yeah, because she's like, I'm teaching Bud how to swim, and then she's like drowning him,
Yep.
And I Googled it. No one really had an answer. Okay, I have to say, sorry, I'm interrupting myself. There is nothing on the internet about this movie. There's no fun facts. There's no, like, the only fun facts that we have, we've already talked about.
Okay.
Like, there's just nothing. Like, considering what a huge, like, I feel like influence on my life, I'm a little disappointed that there wasn't more.
Right.
So.
Yeah. I saw some things where there were like issues with like continuity sake, or like, in one scene stuff was broken and then they came back and it wasn't, and shit like that. Where, like,
shocker.
People have way too much time on their hands when they're
if continuity is your biggest problem with this movie, then
when you're dissecting a Pauly Shore movie to find out how many seconds were remaining on the clock as it was ticking down. We're like, in this scene it showed it was 12 seconds, and then it went to 13, and then it came back to 12 again. When it, like, how did that? Yeah. And I thought that was fucking retarded. Whoops, I'm not allowed to say that.
No, not the R word.
This movie's from '96. I'm allowed to say.
That's right. We are period correct.
Yeah. Why would they start the clock at 365? It said day 365, and then it went down to 0. Like, who's doing this? Like, it should go. It's day 1. It's not day 365. It's day 1.
Yeah, but it's a countdown. It's not like a count up.
I don't know. It just didn't seem like a countdown clock. It just seemed, because it wouldn't say day whatever, like, because it's not day 365. It's day 1. I don't know. I'm stupid.
I get that.
I did love that recurring joke, that recurring time joke where they're like, a whole day, or like 24 hours.
Yes.
Where they were like the same.
Yeah.
If we only had one more day or 24
or another
hours.
Yeah, and it's like 14 days or like 2 weeks. Yeah.
I hated that scene too.
That's because you feel so like she didn't do anything to them. They are just choosing to be jerks.
It's Olivia, right? Is that her name?
Yeah.
She ends up saving the damn day at the end.
She does.
Like, no one cares. No one's like high-fiving Olivia. She's the one that knocked out Faulkner and made him chuck the coconut too far. I mean, if you haven't seen this movie and you're listening to me describe the end of this film, you're like, there's no fucking way that this movie was made. There's just no way.
And there's no way with how slutty those girlfriends dressed that they were going to wait a year to fuck somebody.
Right.
Exactly.
No way.
I was going to
ask. There's also
you,
no way that those, scientist women fell for those two guys. that also is not possible.
I mean, I don't know. The alternative was Romulus and Faulkner. So I mean,
this is a good point.
And they're good looking. Pauly Shore, I think Pauly Shore is good looking.
Yeah.
And I think Stephen Baldwin's super hot. And so did you guys think that the scientists were good looking? Because I felt like Mimi looked like a drawing of a lion. Like if you drew a lion as the cartoon character, no,
Kylie
like her
Minogue?
whole face. No. Kylie Minogue was Petra.
Yeah.
The other one was Mimi. She, like, when she, like, stood there, like, I feel like I was looking at, like, Mufasa or something.
Right.
I don't think she was bad looking, but
very 90s look was happening. There's one scene in particular with the feathered, like, the hair was all feathered back. It was, like, very, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that I'd agree with you necessarily. I wouldn't have imagined if I was given the choice for any animal to describe her as, I don't think it would have been a full-grown male lion, but, whatever. That's
a lot of pre-Me Too things happened in this movie.
Yes, for sure. A lot of he walks up and he like pokes her in the ass when he's
they just hop into bed with two strangers. Yeah. Like they give it a shot. Like they just we're gonna give this a shot. Let's see what happens.
When they run up to the door and start banging on it with their boners, it is amazing.
I put door fucking in my notes, actually.
Nice.
Because that was one of my laugh out loud moments when they just keep fucking the door. That was outstanding.
All right. We get, hold on. Okay. I'm going to do this one first just because I thought it was funny.
A goat is a miracle.
This is what we were just talking about here. The
is a miracle.
And you're a miracle too, Petrie.
Yikes.
What's up, Doc?
What's up, Doc?
Why are you putting that little guy in the rice paddy?
These tilapia are an integral part of our food supply. We adapted a technique from Asia. The fish eat the algae, then fertilize the rice.
So then...
She has, like, no personality.
Dipatilia. On the rice. I mean, crapping on the rice.
Well, in crude layman's terms, yes.
She sounds like the voice of a video game
know about this?
trying to describe to you what to do next.
I know yoga.
Yeah, she sounds like Simba's mom. Is what she sounds like.
Sounds like Simba's mom. Great Faith No More song too, by the way. Great soundtrack. I really enjoyed the soundtrack. It really brought me back to the 90s.
That era.
Even the beginning, like with all the punk music and stuff, it got me into it. Like I was like, yes.
I hated this beginning. It was like 3 minutes. It was like 3 minutes of like an MTV shit montage of like crumpled up paper and loud noises and colors.
I feel like that's just, it always goes wrong. I feel like the long intros just, I can't think of a long intro that I've ever liked.
Yeah, unless it was one that was accompanied by those like
that had a story.
The intro cartoons or the
Right.
Those are the worst. They're so stupid. I know you like them.
I like the ones that follow the like through a character storyline when there's like nothing happening, but you're watching people like walking through a room, and then you can watch the credits. Like you don't need to look at the credits; you can see something else happening. But when it's a movie like this, it just throws them in your face. It's like, here's the credits, and listen to me. Which I mean, I guess was a big deal back then. People wanted their names to be associated with the movie up front, I guess. But
go ahead. Sorry, Matthew.
It's actually produced by Weasel Productions, by the way, which is one thing I pulled from the opening.
Very
credits.
good.
When Pauly Shore came to Shakespeare's, Wheeze and the Juice was like the drink of the night. Yeah. Nice. No, like that is. I do have to say, like in today's movies or TV shows, like it's literally like 3 little things, boom, you're into everything. Or sometimes they start it and then they'll just be like, boom, TV show.
Throw up a title
done.
card. Yeah.
Yes. It's like we have the internet. We fucking know who's in this. Like we don't need to have the credits first.
So like Guardians of the Galaxy, I feel like they'll have the, like one of the killer songs, and they're showing some like kind of a little character development-y stuff. Like they're going from place to place and showing, or whatever.
Yeah, and that I can handle, and that's something like my kid can set through. But if it's literally just names on the screen as a song, like a shit song plays, I'm just like,
like old Disney movies.
Please
like
let me
you have to fast forward through old Disney movies for like 5 minutes before you. I'm like, how did I sit through this as a kid? This is.
Well, we're way more ADD now with cell phones and stuff.
I don't know how I could go back at this point. Like
Oh, also. Yeah, notice the payphones in this one.
Yes.
That was great. The use of payphones.
But like to go back and watch a movie like this on a VHS tape would be just unacceptable for me at this point. Like, and if the idea of having to deal with like tracking and shit, it just like stop doing all of the things we used to do.
The greatest thing that has ever happened to technology was when Netflix said skip intro.
Yeah, but hold on. We have to get this in. We're about to run out of time on our first thing. So we're going to do a little game for our guests, and it has a theme song, and it goes like this.
Chop this synopsis.
God, I hope I have enough time for this.
Chop this synopsis.
All right, you guys have heard it. I'm not going to let it finish. All right, we need you to give us a 10-word or less synopsis for this film. So if you could take this movie and chop it down into 10 words or less. We'll get that from you when we come back after the break. But in the meantime, you'll have the break to figure it out, and we will be right back after these messages.
Hi, this is Bob from Your Welcome Future Self, the podcast. Each week, myself and my co-host Adam come together to become less terrible people one episode at a time. It's a show about creating goals and trying to keep them. I hope you listen in wherever you get your podcasts and join us on our journey of self-improvement and mental health and stability. Or instability, I don't know. But come on and join us.
Jamie, I need you to keep the dogs quiet. I'm recording a commercial for the Elemental podcast, so can you keep them quiet during this recording of my commercial for the Elemental podcast? I mean, I know the dogs bark a whole lot when we actually record the podcast on Mondays and Thursdays and during the Patreon on Saturdays. But during the commercial, we need the recording to be dog bark free. Can you do that for me, Jamie? Can you keep the dogs quiet during the recording of this commercial for the Elemental podcast that people can listen to every Monday and Thursday and the Patreon on Saturday? Can you do that for me, Jamie? Thanks, Jamie. Appreciate it.
Chop this synopsis.
We'll let it play this time around since I had to cut it short last time.
Chop this synopsis.
And we're back. All right. Thank you so much for
that. That's beautiful.
Yeah, that was Mr. Bob Fredericks providing our theme song, of course.
Lovely singing voice, Bob. I love it.
Multiple time guest, Bob Fredericks, and also podcaster in his own right. Go listen to Your Welcome Future Self, featuring Bob Fredericks and Adam Summerfield, both previous guests. So, but otherwise, go enjoy those things that the ads were for. I think it's probably just some more podcasts. So go listen to those, and then welcome back. And now, Matthew, if you could please regale us with your 10-word or less synopsis of the film Biodome.
I think this really captures it.
All right.
Two knucklehead bros destroy, then save Biodome, also fart jokes.
There you go.
That's exactly 10 words.
There it is, yeah. I'll take it.
I love it.
I would click on that for sure. I'd see what was going on at least.
You had me at fart jokes.
Fart jokes.
Yeah, you didn't bury
not mention the fart joke.
You didn't bury the lead. You kept us hanging on right till the end, and then you sealed the deal. That's how it works, man. Very good, very good. All right, so that's chop this synopsis, and on we go.
So I had a question. Sure. Would you guys do this Biodome thing for a year? Like, do you think that would be an experience that you'd want to have?
That's a great question. I feel like we're already 3 months in.
Yeah, I've created my own biodome in my house, and I'm going to tell you, I'm going to tell you, homeostasis is at about 3% right now inside the house. Looking pretty rough in here.
I might have a better chance of getting lucky if you know. I would probably try something like this.
A year is a long time.
I immediately thought to ask you, like, for how much money? Like, that's how it worked in my brain. It was like,
that's where my head was too. I'm like, you'd probably get some money. Then you'd be able to write a book and shit.
Yeah. I
guess.
But,
and you get you could sponsor like nerd stuff.
Yeah.
But like, just out of like wondering if I could do it, I would probably say no. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to prove it to anybody, but like, if it was going to serve a function or purpose, like if doing this was research toward a better environment, then maybe, but like, if it was just to see if I could, I'm not one of those kind of people. Yeah.
Would you do it, Mandy?
Yeah, I would. I mean, if I didn't have a kid, I couldn't be away from her for a year. But yeah,
for what end? Like just to see if the challenge.
Yeah, just to do it and see if we could survive and how it would. And like at the end, like you could go to like speak at like colleges and stuff and be like, and too, like your research could possibly colonize other, like the bottom of the ocean or other planets. I just think that'd be really cool.
Sure.
I wonder if any of these actors would be in the movie Biodome again.
No.
That's a big no. Probably Shore would be like jump on that. Yeah.
Well,
They lined it up for a sequel at the end of this beast. They could have done.
They left it open. Yeah.
They very, very much could have done like the nuclear power plant dome or whatever. You know what I mean? Like they left the villain stayed alive. Spoiler alert. And and the main characters were heading right back into another situation. You know what I mean?
Was he a villain though? I mean, honestly, wouldn't we have all just tried to blow that shit up after dealing with
he nearly attempted to kill what would have been 6 other people. So I guess, yeah.
I mean, I feel like spending a year with
we watched him kill a parrot too.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, we didn't watch him kill it. He just
we watched him eat
I am God.
That was actually a great joke. I'm God.
Yeah. No. I'm God.
So did this do it for what happened to Pauly Shore after this? Was this the end for him?
No, he did others. No, I feel like there were movies after this. Was it
just like Goof Troop and that shit? But
yeah, maybe.
So we talked about this when we did the Son-in-Law movie. He had done an interview where he was like pleading with people to like not be. As far as I can remember, this may be wrong, but I think he was pleading with people to just not be Pauly Shore anymore. Like, I don't want to be the Weasel. I don't want to do.
Yeah.
Like he just
wasn't it Life After Pauly Shore or something like that? Like Life.
I don't know.
After, I don't know.
But he was just getting pigeonholed into that same part, and there's only so many movies you can make as the Weasel. You know what I mean? Like it had kind of run itself dry. He had been off MTV long enough where no one knew him from that perspective anymore, and he was just this like one trick pony that was like, all right, we get it, and we're kind of done with it at this point.
Yeah, that's kind of the peril of like that stage persona character thing.
Yeah.
Where and you can tell he's kind of actively, like, he wears like the knit cap and he's trying to actively move away from the
yeah. Well, and the thing is, he wasn't, and again, this is
Pauly Shore is dead in 2003.
Yeah, was the last.
He made like a documentary. Pauly Shore is dead.
Yeah. Holy shit! I thought you like just saw news that said Pauly Shore's dead. I'm like, oh my god.
No.
What are the odds?
No, in 2003, like that was a documentary that he made.
And the thing is, most people that were of that ilk would have been like, they could ride it out. You know what I mean? Like I could just be like a B actor for the rest of my life. But with Pauly Shore, he was so much of a specific, like he wasn't a bit character and he wasn't like a background guy. He was either major foreground, like I'm the Weasel, or it was just kind of nothing. And I don't think he would have been satisfied being just a bit character on a TV show or something.
But the thing is, he has been different characters in different TV shows all through, and he's done voices and stuff. But like in Son-in-Law, when he has to act serious, he is a decent serious actor. Even in Encino Man, when he's trying to like, when they're like on the motorbike and he's trying to drop him off in the desert, and he's like, dude, you know, like not like dude, but like, dude, this is not okay.
Yeah,
dude.
So I do think that he is a decent, you know, he has decent acting chops. He just hasn't had the chance to really show it, and then his life took a bad turn and now he's horrible at stand-up. So
it might have been the other way around too. I'm not sure what it might have been, that people were just like, please keep doing, or let me keep doing the Weasel. Like, let me be the Weasel for the rest of my life. And people were just like, now we're cool. We don't need that anymore.
We've had enough Weasel.
Yeah, I don't know. But we do get, stellar performances like this.
What do you boys want out of life?
To die and come back as a leotard?
Which leads me to my next question. What do you die? What do you die and come back as? If you had,
wow.
We didn't realize we were going to get this deep in a Pauly Shore.
I know. Oh man, probably me I'd be a dog. I'd want to come back as a dog.
Yeah.
It depends on who owns you, though. I thought the same thing.
That's a big part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say a bird, like, so I could like fly around.
Thanks, Jenny. Please God, make me a bird.
Please
so
God.
Far away from here.
I'm God.
I'm God.
Oh, Jenny, no. But I don't know what I would be. It'd be, something that didn't have a lot of responsibility. Basically, it would be
right.
Yeah, exactly. Which is the dog, basically. Like someone.
I even think that your face looks like the sloth from Zootopia.
There you go.
Like, I could see you coming back. I can see you coming back, and you work for a bank.
If you're just if you're just listening in, which apparently a bank is the same as the DMV, and
that's right, he's the DMV,
and I look like a sloth. If you're listening to this only, maybe take this as an opportunity to hop over to YouTube, and then you can see this happening in real time. So,
but you should slow it down if you can, so that Matt's really slow.
No need. I do that on my own. As soon as I hit stop on this, nothing else will be happening today.
Do you have the theme song for the budgets queued up or no?
I do. Here we go. This is another theme song provided by listener/guest. Again, Mr. Stu McAllister shows up here. Box office theme song. That's it. Short and sweet.
Nice.
Box office.
He came up with that while sniffing his own beefers or whatever.
Huffing his own beefers.
All right, so we'll go with Matthew first. How much do you think in 1996 it cost to make this movie?
How much it cost?
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think. There was a lot of set pieces.
Sure.
A lot of fake computers, which the computers were hilarious in this to me. I would say $20 million.
Okay.
This had to be peak Pauly Shore. A lot of extras, a lot of like you said, a big set, big building. But I would say that's probably pretty close to what I would have given it. I would say if this movie cost more than like $25 million, it was a waste of money.
They had to have lost money on this, right?
We'll see what happens. Here we go.
Yeah.
Mandy,
All right.
what's the verdict?
It was $15 million.
Okay.
Oh!
Right. So they did a pretty decent job out of a pretty low end
that was excellent.
budget at the time. Hell, a bunch of that had to be the music rights for a lot of this stuff. And
yeah.
I mean, there was probably some pretty penny thrown around for Safety Dance and that
Steelers
weird ass
Wheel?
da song and some Steelers Wheel. So
and so and actually William Atherton, I feel like he was pretty big by then.
Sure.
You know, like to get him, it would have been that was a pretty good get for them. Like to have him be the bad guy in this. This was probably the low point of his career.
Did you happen to get the list of this was supposed to be 2 other people that were in this movie?
I did.
It was like Harlan Williams and
yes,
someone else.
Donna something. Yes. It was.
Yeah, I can't remember the second character or the second actor, but it was supposed to be Harlan Williams and someone else.
Oh wow!
Which I feel like that would have been a lot cheaper of a movie at that point. But
Harlan
I mean,
Williams
nothing against Harlan Williams. I think he's amazing, but he just didn't have
great.
That he didn't have the star power. I think that Pauly Shore did.
God,
at the
he's
time.
so funny.
Yeah.
Harlan Williams and Dana Gould.
Dana Gould.
Yeah.
He's a classic.
Yeah,
Dana's
for sure.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
I feel like he just came through Michigan. He was just at Dr. Grin's, I think.
Yeah. Which I don't know that. I mean, how many movies has he been like a star in?
I literally thought this was a woman.
No,
so.
Dana Gould. No,
he's very funny.
Yeah, but like this would have been a weird movie. Like to see him being basically a co-star in a big budget film like that would be kind of a strange thing. But
I'm trying to think of stuff that he's even been in movie wise.
I think. Sorry, Harlan Williams at this point hadn't really. Like he
right,
really
they were both
the
basically
scene.
stand-ups. I think at that.
Yeah.
At that point.
What is the movie where Harlan Williams gets picked up as a hitchhiker?
Yes.
About Mary.
Step into my office. Why? Because you're fucking fired.
Yeah, you're fucking fired, man.
I think it was something about Mary.
7 chipmunks curling on a branch, eating lots of sunflowers on my uncle's ranch. Haven't you ever heard that children's
so
tale
great.
from the sea? I love
it. I love it when I love him on Down Periscope when he's talking to the whales and he's like, coo, coo, coo. I love that so much.
Ellen DeGeneres before she came around, you know, talking to whales and shit.
Yeah, exactly. And in Half Baked when he's in jail and he's like, "Have you ever run naked backwards through a cornfield?"
The cop in Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah,
sucking back on Grandpa's old cough medicine. You keep your mouth shut if you know what's good for you.
Oh, so great.
Love it. Yeah.
All right. So how much do you guys think this movie made worldwide gross?
It cost $15 million to make.
Uh-huh.
They had to lose money on this, right? I can't imagine they got the money back.
I bet it made some money. I bet this movie made a decent amount of money. I don't think I hadn't heard of this being a notorious flop, but
for some reason 38 million seems like a number.
Okay. I would say probably somewhere near what we guessed the actual budget would be. So I'm going to stick with like 25 million.
13.4 million.
No, it lost money.
It lost money. Yeah.
Yikes.
Huge bummer.
That is a huge bummer.
I was super disappointed because I remember like me and my friends all watching this movie as kids. Yeah. So I thought for sure, you know, this has had to, I mean, we were pretty much the prime target for that era.
Right. And I want to say Kyle Burnham, which is friend of the show, has been on a couple of times. Not a comedian, but still been on a bunch of times, and he's a super funny guy. I think he had a Biodome poster in his room. Now, I don't know if it was like well after the fact as like an ironic sort of like, look what I found, or if it was legit like, I love this movie and here's a poster of it. But I remember watching this with him quite a bit. Yeah. But again, they're not going to make any money off of me watching the VHS tape for the 30th time. So
it is a weird thing to go back and watch those movies that you loved as a kid. We just did that with No Retreat, No Surrender, which was like an 80s like Karate Kid ripoff that I remember. I loved it so hard as a kid. I probably watched it 100 times, and then you go back and watch it.
Who is in that?
Well, a bunch of nobodies, but Jean-Claude Van Damme was one of his first movies, and he's got like this little tiny cameo. He's got like a really small part. He's basically in it for a little part at the beginning, and then the fight at the end, and that's it.
I love him, and I actually suggested Bloodsport as like one of the movies we were going to do soon.
That's a great one.
I know. I love him.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever tried to find a movie that you knew as a kid, but you have no way of like, you don't know the name, you can't really remember who's in it, but you had to like describe it to enough people to figure it out? That happened to me. This movie is not worth watching. There's no reason anyone should watch it, but there's a movie called, I think it's called House of Cards with Tommy Lee Jones in it. And there's a small girl who like watched somebody die and went like all catatonic and like just didn't talk to anyone. And he had to like,
this is ringing a bell to me.
It was weird. And this is how I had to do this. I had to describe it to enough people. In fact, I think I went to like the FYE store in the mall and was like, can you please help me figure out what this movie is? And again, it was before like Googling something was like readily available. I had to like special order it and have it mailed to the mall.
Now if you know one person, you can literally just like look at their filmography and be like, oh, that's what that movie was.
For sure, yeah.
Right.
But like I ended up having to track that movie down, and then of course I rewatched it, and it was just like, okay, I guess I own this now. Like there was no
what have I done?
Yeah, right. You guys have you guys ever bought a movie prior to watching it? Like you just thought it was gonna be great and bought it and was like, well, that was something.
That's happening a lot more now, I feel like, with because a lot of stuff we just saw that King of Staten Island with Pete Davidson is coming out straight to live streaming, and it's like I'm gonna probably buy that before I watch it because now theaters are closed, so there's gonna be a lot of that now, I think.
Yeah.
I did that with Hangover.
Yeah.
And not Hangover, Pineapple Express.
Oh, okay. All right.
And I did not like the movie. I'm sure that there are a lot of people that listen that are like, what? And maybe I need to rewatch it.
Sure.
But I was just like expecting it to be amazing.
Right. Yeah, because the cast was something at the time. I mean, that seemed like it should have been great.
The Hangover I watched on a plane ride back from Korea, and I thought it sucked. And everybody's like, what?
Yeah,
so,
it's all right. I did that with, which again, this is the same way. I did not care for this, but everyone else thinks it's the most amazing. I did it with Punch Drunk Love. I just assumed it was going to be an Adam Sandler movie, and I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to just buy this. It happened to be on the shelf, like a new release at the store, and I was like, fuck it, I'm going to buy this and see what happens. And I mean, it was okay, but would I have bought it knowing what it was? No, I would not. But
definitely not Billy Madison.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
For sure.
Do you want to do ages?
Let's do ages. We're not going to play the theme song for that. We're just going to say, how old are they? We're going to play a game called How Old Are They?
Woo! All right. How old do you think William Atherton, who played Dr. Noah Faulkner, was?
That mother Faulkner.
We got to stop that mother Faulkner.
It's true, Your Honor. This man has no dick. When the movie was made, oh man, 48.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to give him, I'm going to say like 42.
I think I went high.
He was 49.
Oh!
Yeah.
Price is right at it. He's right at it.
He's good looking 49. He's holding up.
I
pretty
know,
well.
right? Okay, so this one kind of floored me. How old do you think Kylie Minogue was when she made this movie?
I think she's a little older.
Petra.
Right? 32 is my guess.
I'm going to say like 26.
Okay, so she was 28.
Okay.
But that means that when she came out with Can't Get You Out of My Head, like the amazing video, she was 47 in that video.
What?
So she looked like she was like 25.
Wow.
But she was 47. I know. I was like, oh, Kylie,
And I
you're
did
making me
not
feel like
realize
shit.
who she was. I did not realize that she was like this huge megastar in Europe and shit. Like I didn't.
Is she Australian?
Yeah.
Well,
she's
Australian. And she was the one that originally came up with the song Locomotion. Come on.
No,
That's right.
I think.
No, she
did a
wasn't the
cover.
original. She did a cover.
Yeah,
Sorry.
her
Yes.
cover of the song is what broke
But
her
her
over.
but her cover was like the popular version. Of
She
it.
had like 100 weeks in a row or some shit of being like on the UK top charts or some nonsense. So of
She
course,
came out with a lot of dance music, but she was like fucking almost 60 or like almost 50. I was like, what the hell?
Well, and she, I read that she became a musician by accident. Like someone heard her singing that cover she did of Locomotion and was like, we need to sign her for this, and then she became like a musician after that. But she was an actress prior. She was in a bunch of
Biodome. Oh no, that's not
she
it.
was on some Australian. She was on some
soap
Australian
opera.
soap operas. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And she's done a lot of other like acting things here and there, but
she had a weird accent in this. It wasn't an Australian accent, I didn't think.
No,
like,
yeah.
It seemed kind of weird what she was doing. I wasn't exactly sure what that was.
I'm guessing it was the direction.
Well,
Direction.
Here's the only example I had of that. We've already played it, but here.
A goat is a miracle. Carrot is a miracle.
Yeah, it's kind of on the edge of Australian, you know.
Yeah,
she's got a little Olivia Newton-John going on there.
How old do you think Pauly Shore was?
If On the Edge of Australian isn't a movie, it should be.
Oh boy, Pauly Shore. This is 96.
Yeah.
Oh my. 31.
Okay.
I would say he was probably like 27.
28.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is crazy because he was born in 68. So that just goes to show how old he is right now.
Yeah.
Like, you got to do the math because I can't do the math.
Is he almost 60? No.
50.
If he was 40,
52.
So he's like, yeah, right. Yeah, he's like 52.
But that's still like crazy.
For sure.
So what was he talking about during his, like, how is his life go? He just is kind of like bottomed out?
Yeah, he talked about how he bought a house with some of his Encino money, and he still has it, but he rents it out because he needs the money from renting it out. The whole thing was just really sad. Yeah,
I'm sure he just got into that vibe of trying to maintain that lifestyle. Like, he probably, if he had done it right, he probably would have been set for life. But when you're living up here and you expect to be up here forever, I mean, you're kind of fucked. Like, there's been plenty of people from back then that hit really hard and fast, but then did it the right way and just kind of became regular people after they were done. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure he just kind of fell into that vibe, and I'm sure there was probably so much drugs and
other
shit.
That's kind of his brand too, you know.
Yeah,
it's like, I love the Rick Moranis story where he was the biggest thing ever in the 80s, and he was just like, I'm gonna raise my kids. Like,
yeah. We need Rick Moranis to come back. I mean, if we
coming back.
There has been rumors about him coming back like nonstop. Yeah. It would be amazing if he would, but
he's really great.
And I think I just read something about him doing either like a cameo as himself or something. He just did like a small bit part in something, or he's going to be in something in the near future or something. I don't know.
I literally feel like that has been like the what we've been hearing about for
That's
like
the
10
article
years.
that everyone is writing. He might be in something later, is what I heard.
I heard that it was the new Ivan Reitman's kid, the new Ghostbusters that was supposed to come out. Maybe not. I don't know.
And I also heard they were going to do some sort of a reboot of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids too, which
man,
I don't know. I don't know if we need that right now, you know?
Now they're rebooting everything.
Yeah. We've run out of original ideas.
Well, what are they going to... They can't even film right now, so I don't know what the hell they're going to do.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. All Zoom. It's all going to be on Zoom.
It's just going to be a bunch of found footage movies.
Well, speaking of, I know you guys don't like Jimmy Fallon, but like the Tonight Show or whatever, Late Night with Jimmy Fallon, like they've been doing this like constant... like soap opera, like this, where they're like doing it by Zoom. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's freaking hilarious. And it's got Will Ferrell and I can't remember the chick from SNL that's on it.
Kristen Wiig.
Yes, Kristen Wiig. Oh, I love her. Yeah. So anyway, how old do you think Stephen Baldwin was in this movie?
Oh wow. How old did you say? How old do we say that?
Pauly Shore was 28.
I feel like Stephen Baldwin was a little older.
Yeah.
I got like early 30s, 31.
Okay.
I'm going to stay with 28. I'm going to say they were probably pretty similar.
He was 30.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Splitting the goalposts.
Yeah, there you go.
Still, it's totes crazy because I mean,
so what did Stephen Baldwin? What is his peak like of Stephen Baldwin's career? Like I know he's done some stuff. I'm trying to
That's the kind of career I want.
I know he's done
things. He's been around. I mean, I know his name, but yeah.
You should look up his filmography.
Did you while we're doing that? Did you happen to pull? Or did you get any other cameos at all? Did we talk about those? Other
there
than
was
Tenacious D showing up. Did you get the other one?
Great. That was.
There was one cameo by
Rose McGowan. Did you
Yes.
catch
Oh yeah.
Rose McGowan
Yes.
shows up, and I was thrown away. I was like, "What is this?" Like, this was a total surprise to me.
Oh, I'm kicking myself right now too.
Very short part in this movie, but
it was pre like militant Rose McGowan.
Yeah, for sure.
It was pre Marilyn Manson Rose McGowan.
And pre what's his name? Well, who's the guy who touched a bunch of people? Whoever that producer guy is. Wasn't Rose McGowan one of the ones that like kicked off?
Yes, the Me Too. She started
the Weinstein thing. Yeah. But anyhow,
so
here she is.
Stephen Baldwin. Oh, go ahead.
Hey. Check it out. This is the event that you've been waiting for. It's the annual Arizona Tech.
God, it's bringing back some
some
Scream memories here.
There's going to be like seminars and lectures and kegs and dudes galore.
The sound of her voice makes me think of
Why
Scream.
not, pray tell?
Does the name Bud and Doyle ring a bell?
Yeah, well, year's a long time to wait for those guys. Do you know how old we'll be in a year?
Old.
Yeah, old. Ew.
I meant to play this during the "How old are you" part.
Okay.
Nice.
Listen, did you see the pictures of those chicks they're in there with? They're
hot.
They're hot.
They're hot. All right. What
I know you love her, but her voice is so horrible.
Yeah, you can't get over it, huh?
So I got to give it. So I don't. Has there ever been a back-to-back great bad movie combo? The year before this movie came out, the year before Biodome came out, Stephen Baldwin was in The Usual Suspects in 1995.
Yes, in 95. Yep.
Yeah,
He was also.
Oh yeah, love it.
People that touch underage people, Kevin Spacey.
He was also in, yeah, right. He was also in the Flintstones, which I liked him as Barney in the Flintstones.
So he was was he in the second Flintstones movie then?
I believe so. Well, I don't know.
No, because
because that was Rick Moranis,
which is funny. Yeah.
But he's been doing stuff. It's just stuff nobody has heard of.
It was John Goodman and Rick Moranis, right, in the first one, and then who was? I don't remember who Fred was in the second one. Was it still? I don't know.
It was the guy from the Hot Fuzz guy. I feel like no, not Hot Fuzz.
I don't know.
The guy from the Full Monty, whatever. Anyways,
okay. We're getting into a real weird rabbit hole here. Speaking of
not
rabbit
Hot Fuzz, the Full Monty. Yeah.
Oh, I'm slutty. Oh, I'm slutty.
And
hold on.
I don't feel anything. You?
Love it.
Me neither.
Slaps him both times. Me neither. Here we go.
I feel like a duck-billed platypus.
I do that every time I put on a snorkel or every time.
Anything.
Also, the way they eat the chips, it's like you don't have to throw them all over the place. Like there's a bit more efficient way to eat those.
Why would a Biodome have a bunch of tubes of Pringles or whatever in their fucking
same?
It would
I
have
thought
like
the same
tofu
thing.
Burger and shit in there and just
yeah. What a waste
Protein.
of okay, and the last one is how old do you think Joey Lauren Adams was?
Joey Lauren Adams.
Which was Monique.
Boy.
The one that talks like this.
She totally does. She says, "Don't mock me."
She was in. She did the Chasing Amy.
Chasing Amy.
I love that movie.
Kevin Smith, right? Did she was in Mallrats?
Ben Affleck.
Yeah, she was in. She's been in 2 movies we've done. She was.
Did we do Big Daddy yet? We didn't do Big Daddy.
Oh, she was in Big Daddy.
Yeah.
She was in. Yeah.
That's a great movie too.
She was in Dazed and Confused, and also very briefly she was in Coneheads.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Coneheads. She's probably late 20s, right? 20. I'm gonna say 26.
I mean, she sounds like she's 14.
She definitely does.
But she always has, I guess. I'm gonna say, probably like 23, 24, something like that.
She was 28, same as Polly Shore.
Look at that.
Which means that she's 52 now.
Yeah.
Wow.
She's doing
I don't know what she looks like. I mean, I don't know.
She's still working?
I don't know.
She better be.
You'd think. I feel like her voice is like how like female.
She's working in cartoons.
Like I feel like female like weightlifters that take a ton of testosterone. That's like what they sound like. I don't know.
Wow. All right. Well, we haven't hit Tenacious D yet for the clip. I'm gonna go ahead and play that.
Yes, let's do that.
So have you, before I play this more, have you guys actually listened to the lyrics of this song? Because it's pretty great. It's pretty great. It's like, first you need the planet, because you couldn't live a second without that. And then you need water, I think he says. And then at the end, he's like, and then you need the trees. Like, that's when the trees become important. But yeah, here, listen, we're going to kick it back off again at the... hold on, there we go.
You need the planet beneath your feet. You couldn't live an instant without that.
So sincere.
Then you need the air.
Then you need the air. Oxygen to breathe. Couldn't live 5 minutes without that.
Can someone please explain how drinking beer and playing hacky sack?
Then you need the water, I think is what he's saying.
Raising consciousness. Oh, I just can't stand up and preach about it. Let me open up.
We really need to save some trees.
Some trees.
We needed to save some trees.
Yeah.
I want to save some trees. Don't say we didn't save some freaking trees.
I love it. And this was the most pleasant surprise of me, of all the surprises.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah, for you not having seen
good.
this before, that was a bit...
It really was special. And like, I've seen them live before. I love Tenacious D. So it was like I had no idea they were in this movie.
Yeah, I saw.
Well, I wanted to see them live, and then their tickets were too expensive, and then it got adjourned because of COVID. So
see, I saw them back in what I assume would have been like '99, something like that.
This was a long time ago. It was during the Wonder Boy, like when the Wonder Boy came out. Like,
see, with me, they were opening for Weezer. It was Weezer, Jimmy Eat World, and Tenacious D was the opening act. I literally could not have cared less about Weezer. Didn't know who Jimmy Eat World was yet because they were still the opening act for Weezer.
Holy shit.
And then Tenacious D was the opening act, and we only went to see Tenacious D. So
that's awesome.
It was pretty great. It was a good time.
They're a great outfit.
anyways, that's all the ages. So
all right,
we're all good with that.
We did it. All right, we have a few minutes left. I do want. I'll save that one for the end. Well, I have a nice ending clip we can use for that one, but let's.
I just have to say, Matthew, it's been so amazing seeing you.
Wait!
I love it.
Hold on, we've got our last game. We've got to play What's That Sound?
We got another game.
Yeah, we got to play What's That
Oh
Sound?
yeah,
Here's
whoops.
this.
It's time we stop, children. What's that sound?
You hear what I hear.
What's that sound?
I remember this one.
What's that sound?
All right, it is time to play What's That Sound? This is where I take a sound from a movie, play it for you guys, and see if you can figure out what it is. I'm so glad you both have headphones on. This game is exceedingly difficult over Zoom, but it does get much easier over headphones. So hopefully you can get these. I do have 3 for this one, so we're going to go easier, and then we're going to go harder toward the end and see what happens. So first one we have, I'm hoping this one's easy. It might not be, but we'll see what happens.
You know, I hear this all the time. This is, I mean, you got to know door fucking when you hear it.
I was going to remind you to check your notes if you were having trouble with this one. I think that
Great physical comedy.
That might be the first time someone's got it on the first go around over Zoom. So
that is awesome.
Normally it's like, can you play that again for me 6 times and we'll figure out what it is.
Very recognizable.
Nice job with that one. And then here is the next one, and I need you to tell me, I guess, what it is that we're hearing. Okay? So I don't need to know what's happening on screen necessarily. I need to know what we are hearing.
Oh boy!
I can get you that one again if you need it. Let's crank it up a little bit here.
Oh man, that's not when they're doing the sex radio thing, is it?
No,
I don't know that one.
Mandy,
is that when he's being stubby? He's like,
it's the sound of a squirrel in a stub, is what it is. That's
okay.
Squirrel in a stub.
You ever? Does he say you ever had a squirrel in a stub or something like that? And then they do that. So
that's the pickup line part.
Yeah, this is after they come back into the room and give them the blankets and pillows. They don't even say thank you for the blankets and pillows. He just turns around and says, "Have you ever?"
Speaking of, I love when he's like, choose the blanket, because he always does like the rock, and he's like, choose the pillow for fun.
And then at the end, he's like, paper.
Yeah.
All right, we got one more sound. Let's see. This one's going to be the tough one, I think. Here we go.
Oh, I know it.
Do you? Okay.
Oh, that's during. It's during the party at the end.
No. Backtrack a little bit.
Oh, I don't know.
Play it again. Play it again for him.
Is that when they're high on nitrous?
Nope. No.
I don't know.
It's when they're doing the anatomically correct, like fake,
the
robot thing.
Rock'em Sock'em Bud and Doyle. Yeah. He comes out and he's got the Rock'em Sock'em guys. That's great. It's the greatest of all time. So
I learned that if I turn my headphones way up during this, I can hear it way better. Yeah.
Nice. All right. So that's the last one. That was all three.
Nice.
So nothing made its way out to the audience. So great job for both of you guys. Nice job.
I love that you got the door fucking one.
Yeah,
It's such a
favorite part. Yeah, it's a highlight of the movie.
Seconds. Yeah. All right. So we are down to just a few minutes left. So at this point, we want to say, would you watch this movie again? This is basically our rating system, is whether or not you would waste your own time to watch this movie again.
I could see watching it again as a fun thing, just because it's such a 90s time capsule. I could totally see watching it with some like old friends and stuff.
Yeah, it's way better to like watch it with someone, like to just sit and watch it by yourself again.
Yeah, Jeanette and I had a blast. Kind of just all the cultural stuff in it was really.
Had Jeanette seen it or no?
She had seen it. She actually mocked me for not seeing this movie.
Nice.
Yeah, she was like, "How have you never seen?" And it was, I don't know how this was in my blind spot, but I have never. But now I can say that I have, thanks to you guys.
Very good. That's what we always want. If you've never seen it, at least you can say you have. Like,
you're broadening my horizons.
We try to pick at least somewhat culturally relevant movies.
That's why I love you guys. Like I learned things.
There you go. Mandy, would you watch this movie again?
Absolutely.
Within
like the next year, I'll watch it for sure.
I would not watch this movie again, probably, but I would probably recommend to people that if you haven't seen it in like 10 or 15 years, probably give it another go. It's fun. It's worth it.
People that grew up in the 90s, you know?
Sure. Yeah, it's worth it.
And it's free. If you have Amazon Prime and you're home, I mean, you might as well.
For sure, yeah. All right. And, I mean, I guess that's pretty much it. Do you have anything to plug? What's going on? Anything? All right, we are back again. We had a little bit of a whole snafu there toward the end, right in the middle of the plug. So I think we're going to jump back prior. So maybe you won't have heard any of that weird nonsense going on. We'll see how the edit works out. But let's go ahead and do some plugs. So, Matt, like we said before, things are starting to kind of open back up again. So we don't know if anything's really, bumping up there. They opened some more stuff up your way.
Yes, restaurants and some bars are open. The bars that I host an open mic up here at Union Street Station, but they have chose not to open yet. So It's kind of that weird thing of like places can open, but people are choosing not to do it. So I don't know when that's going to open back up, but you can check that out at USS Comedy on Facebook.
Okay.
We also have a production company up here where we do shows through Kamikaze Comedy. And we've been doing this really cool thing on Facebook. We put the videos on YouTube and put them on our Facebook every Sunday night. It's called Broken News. It's like a total news satire thing.
Sure.
We had Megan Coddington Heath was on last week. Ben Max is involved. It's just little snippets of like I'm the anchor of it, and then we throw to the different. We have Ben Max plays the weatherman,
correspondence and stuff. Yeah, nice.
Nice. That is so awesome.
We have got to get Ben on this podcast.
Oh, yeah, you should. You got to get him on. He's one of the most fun. It's just totally absurd the way his take on this weatherman. It's so good. So
it's a toss-up between whether I get him on or if I try to get Thad on. We'll see how it goes.
Oh man, Thad is out there and making stuff happen. He's up. We put a lot of his stuff on our Facebook page too at Kamikaze Comedy. And other than that, we have also have a podcast called The Thing over at thethingpod.com, which is about like creativity and what inspiring stuff. And we do one a week.
Okay.
We just did a quarantine classic, which was the movie Cool Hand Luke, which was
okay. Nice.
Really
fun.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah,
so
you boil up some eggs, sit back and watch the movie. You know,
I can eat 50 eggs. He says. It's amazing.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, and then where can people get? Like, do you have your own social media stuff at all, or do you?
I do. Yep. You can check out at Really Zerilli on Twitter and Twitter and the Instagram thing, and then just my name, Matthew Zerilli, on Facebook. Really Zerilli. Last name is spelled Zerilli, and it sounds like really, so I call it Really Zerilli.
There you go. And Mandy, do you have anything at all that's coming up at all, or anything, or just stuff you want to point people toward during this time of? Wait and see. Anything that you're enjoying in the real world that people could also enjoy?
Nope. I'm doing the stay-at-home mom thing, so I'm kind of dying.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So you're just watching like cartoons all day, and that's just
there's a lot of swimming. A lot of mom. Yeah. So I mean, I'm enjoying it, but. Yeah. I do know things are going to be opening up, and just be responsible. The reason I'm staying home right now is because I literally don't know what's going to happen with my kiddo and with schools opening and stuff. So, just everybody, don't be a dick.
Yeah, we're all in it together.
Right, for sure. Yeah. If you would like, you can follow us on the Instagram at Another Episode Podcast there. That's where we're going to put up posters of all of these dumb fucking movies that we redo. We take the main cast out and we replace it with ourselves and the guest. So look forward to that. There's going to be a Biodome poster with your face on it. So that's pretty exciting. And we drop those. We try to get those out every Sunday prior to the episode, so that people have an advance notice what to watch to lead up. That way they can watch it beforehand and then join us for the conversation. So that happens on the Instagram. We also have the web or the Facebook page for the podcast as well, at Another Episode Podcast. And then we are on Twitter too, but hell, I haven't done anything on Twitter in a very long time. I'm bad at this. But that's Another Ep Pod on Twitter. But yeah, if you want to suggest movies for us to do, or tell us what we did wrong, or correct something that we messed up, you can email us at anotherepisodepodcast@gmail.com. But otherwise, we don't really know how to end these things at all. It just gets real awkward here toward the end. So we like to kick it off.
Matt's really excited about this, so let's do this.
With a little clip that we pull here just for the end specifically. And this one I'm just pretty stoked about. I had to throw it in here somewhere. So here is that final clip.
Adieu! And off he goes.
Into the wild blue.
Off he goes.
Wild blue.
All right, well, thank you so much, Matthew, for coming back on again.
It's great to see you guys. Thanks for having me. It's awesome.
We won't wait so long next time. We'll get you back on. So.
Right on. Mini tribal, everybody.
There you go. We'll end it with that. All right. Thank you guys so much. And have fun out there and be safe. Bye.
Awesome.
Bye.